Hey guys, I'm Josh and welcome to my channel Video Ep1. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made my machete. Now, before you start thinking that this idea is redundant or rudimentary and skip away, let me tell you that I watch a lot of knife making videos, and sometimes it's because of the workmanship or sometimes for the sound of tools because it's quite therapeutic, But when I wanted to make one for myself is when reality punched me because I was getting stuck at so many different stages. I would work on it, take a break and come back to it sometime later. So what you're about to see is not a complete tutorial, but it is going to be the experience of a person who's got a limited set of skills and who's trying to make a machete. So this video was shot over a period of time, so I've tried to put together in such a way that it makes sense and gives you a better viewing experience. So let's roll the intro and get to work. I went to the steel yard and I picked up the steel stock. I believe it is mild steel and the thickness of the material is about 6 mm. Little did I know that this is way too thicker for this project. This was lesson number 1. The size of the machete was something I thought would work. It was a wild guess, so the chosen length of the machete was marked. This included the length of the handle as well. The desired portion was cut and the rest was stocked up for future projects. The shape of the machete is broader towards the tip and narrower towards the handle. So rather than cutting the steel stock straight, cutting it diagonally will save some hard work later. When I say hard work, this literally is hard work. Here comes lesson number 2. The steel stock was getting hotter while I was cutting and it is clamped to a surface which is not particularly flat and doesn't dissipate the heat very well. This led to the stock bowing in the middle, which I did not account for. The stock should have been cooled down with water, which I did not know then. But luckily the rectangular stock which was cut diagonally gives two similar pieces and one of them was good, and this saved my day. Once the shape of the machete was drawn, all excess material was cut using the angle grinder. Now I made sure that the stock is cooled down in between and does not bow in the middle. Before proceeding with the next step, let me point out that the machete at this stage turned out to be quite heavy. One might get fatigue easily using this with this kind of weight. I had two options here, either to grind away the material's thickness or to reduce the length, which eventually will reduce the weight. I chose option number 2 cause grinding away the whole surface would be beyond my skills. Now this is lesson number 3 for me, getting a good set of files. Throw away those cheap Chinese stuff into junk and get some good ones. It will save your time and effort. Next part would be sharpening and beveling the edges of the blade, for which a sharpening jig needs to be made. So I'm going to stop here for a while and show you how I made the sharpening jig. The design isn't new, it is quite popular on YouTube and I would leave the links in the description if you want to see this in detail. We need a flat piece of metal and an angle iron. These two will be held together with some hinges. The hinges are welded to the angle iron and the flat piece. I lost the footage after this point, but let me explain how this works and you can easily figure it out. There is a bolt welded in the bottom and 2 more holes with bolts attached on the side. These bolts are here to clamp the workpiece and this bolt is to adjust the angle of grinding. These handles are to hold the jig firmly. I had made this jig before getting the bench grinder, and it seems that the tool rest of the grinder is really short for this kind of work. I'll modify that some other time, but for now, the blade could be held in the jig safely and I can freehand without any fear. To remove a lot of material, I think a faster belt sander is a good choice, but my bench sander is not fast enough and the belts have worn out, and therefore the angle grinder is something I'm using to grind away most of the material right now. Once a considerable level of material was removed, the blade was then sanded on a bench sander. I've removed the bolts from the sharpening jig and I've used neodymium magnets to hold the blade. And I've also attached scrap square tubing to raise the height so that when I rest the jig and move it around, it shouldn't be caught up in the rotating disc and fling the blade on me like a mad ninja. Finally, I went in with hand sharpening using various grits of sandpaper placed on a flat surface. Before hardening the blade, it will be a good idea to get the finish what we are aiming for. So I sanded the blade with various grits of sandpaper. I wanted to go for a mirror finish, but I changed my mind. This is a machete which will be used mostly to cut wood and therefore decided to keep it a bit raw. These are a few tricks I've picked up over time. The metal can be marked with Sharpie and then use a caliper to mark the lines. Trust me, this works really well. I'm marking 2 points for the holes where the pins would be seated and one more to add ropes or carabiners if necessary. Once the holes were made, the next step is to go for heat treatment. I wanted only the edge of the blade to be hardened, so I covered the blade with clay, leaving only the edge exposed. This didn't work well for me though, and you will see why. The forge I had made recently is not big enough for this blade, so I got back to making a forge with bricks. Also, I do not have charcoal, but burning wood should be able to make enough heat to get the metal red hot. The axe I made from bike sprocket is coming in handy to break all of the pallet wood blocks into smaller pieces that would fit into this small forge. I usually use them for woodworking, but during this lockdown, I'm using whatever is available with me. The blade is placed inside the furnace, and once it got hot and when I tried to add more wood, the clay on the blade came loose. So this is another lesson I learned, that I should have used charcoal on this forge and not fiddled around with the workpiece too much. While the blade is getting hot, let me show you how I made an oil quenching container. This is a square metal tube, rectangular actually. 2 feet of this square tube should be ideal cause I might not make anything bigger than that. A small rectangular piece of steel was cut and this would be welded to one side of the tube, closing it and making this as a base as well. I've left the flange in the bottom to clamp it or bolt it, as spilling hot burning oil is the last thing you will want. I don't really trust my welding skills, so I sealed the edges of the weld with waterproof epoxy putty. Then the container was cleaned and a coat of red oxide was painted to avoid rust in the future. Although I made this as an oil container which will require a lot less oil compared to the other containers I have, for this project, however, I'm quenching the knife in water. Once the blade is cooled down, a file is used to test the hardness. If the file slides away, the blade is considered hardened, but it didn't happen. I might need to repeat the hardening process and get the metal red hot before quenching. I tried to cover all the holes of the forge with mud and kept going again. The second time you can see the blade is glowing orange. I'm sure this will pass the magnet test. Now let's quench it. The second time I got the hardness right. The blade is hard but brittle as well. Now we have to anneal the blade. Usually it is kept in the oven, but I am going to heat it in the forge itself. Once hot enough, this blade is inserted into a pile of sand and let it cool down gradually. This is the method I've seen the locals use. Since most of the work on the finished look was done earlier, all we have to do is to sand away the black layer on the blade. The locals let it be the way it is and sharpen the blades, but I'm going to clean it anyways. We use wet sanding at this stage because we don't want to heat up the blade and mess it up with its hardness while we are sanding it. This sanding process does take a few hours, so I put on some music and I got to work. The blade is done. Let us give it a wooden handle. I cut some teak wood runners and I split them into half. There is no rocket science here, but this is how I did it. The blade handle was used as a template, and by placing it on top of the first piece, one hole was drilled. This hole was bolted down and the second hole was drilled. Then I bolted the second hole down and drilled the hole for the carbiners. This third hole is the reason I am following this order. Now, using the first piece as a reference, the second piece of the handle was duplicated. While at this stage, I made a couple of more holes on the blade for epoxy to seep through and make it a strong bond. After clearing the burrs and filing the handle a bit, the handle pieces can be attached to the blade using epoxy. I don't have pins, so I'm going to use threaded rods. I could use bolts, but that would need countersink holes and kind of spoils the look of the handle. It would just take 5 minutes for the epoxy to set in. I should have done this earlier, but it is not a big deal. We can hog the excess of wood with a flap disc on the angle grinder, but knocking them out of the way saves a bit of a time and effort. The thread rods which were sticking out in excess were also cut. Now with the flap disc, it's only a matter of minutes to shape this handle. Then I used Dremel to chamfer out the edges, and I think we are done here. I need to make a sheet for this machete to keep it safe, but that is something I will leave it for another video. Guys, I hope you like this video, and if you do, please share it with your friends. And I'm going to make another humble request. Please subscribe to my channel, Video Epo. Help this channel grow, guys. I'm counting on you. I want to keep this passion of making things alive. So help me there. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for your time. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, bye.